And joining us now in studio for more, Sinijlawi, Fatah activist from Jerusalem and chairman of the Sinijlawi, Fatah activist from Jerusalem and chairman of the Jerusalem Development Fund. And Samir, just last year we were talking yet again about a possible reconciliation process between Fatah and Hamas, the West Bank and Gaza. And here we are again intensifying tensions. Why? What has brought it to this point?
Well, first of all, I'm not worried about the incident that has happened in south of Lebanon. It was an accident. It was not really clashes between Fatah and Hamas. It was a misfortune accident where an automatic gun fell down from one of Hamas activists, and then one of Fatah people there shot and killed 3 people, and automatically the leadership of Fatah in the refugee camp handled him to the authorities in Lebanon. But what really worries and rings a lot of bells, the lack of security and control for Abbas and his authority and the Palestinian security forces in the West Bank. And you can see that each day they have been proven that they are losing more and more control, and people are going more against the authority, whether Hamas or other functions. And all what Abbas is doing, instead of reforming the political system, is he is investing more and more in the security forces. He's investing more and more in oppressing the people. He's investing more and more in using forces against the people. And this is creating a lot of tension. And nobody knows when the big explosion will happen. And if this big explosion will happen, and I think a lot of Israeli experts have predicted this.
Well, let me ask you, in your comments, you're not saying it outright, but there is some implicit criticism, Israel here, which, as we heard, Israel, of course, has an interest in Fatah remaining the dominant Palestinian power in the West Bank. From your perspective, Israel's role, or what should Israel be doing in this situation?
Well, I think Israel has interest in keeping Abbas, not Fatah, as the dominant leader. Israel also has played a role in cancelling the elections, which was a turning point for everybody. Nobody is satisfied inside the Palestinian street to see Abbas self-employing himself for 16 years continuously without having a single election. And this is a lot of problem. Fatah is not Abbas. Abbas now is limiting himself to be controlling part of Fatah that is 100% integrated into the security forces.
But there is concern that if Abbas should fall, there is not a figure who can replace him that will then be able to unify the different sides of Fatah against Hamas. It could make the Fatah even weaker against Hamas.
Well, I believe that the era of a leadership in the Palestinian political map has gone forever. Now what is needed is to elect a collective leadership, a coalition of forces inside Fatah, moderate people, reformists, who are young, who are coming with new blood, with new ideas, who are more representative to the street, to come and be elected through elections. And it has been proven in the last elections during the campaign before it was cancelled that there was lists of Fatah, one headed by Mohammed Dahlan, the other headed by Dr. Nasser Qudwa and Marwan Barghouti, who were almost able to win the majority of votes inside the Legislative Council. There is no military solution for Hamas. Israel has tried this, and the Palestinian Authority has tried this. The only way to deal with Hamas is to go to the election boxes and win the election and integrate them, because in a way or another they represent 30% of the Palestinian society, and they should be integrated into the political system. They should be pushed more and more to be pragmatic, to be moderate, and to leave the violence aside. And there is the only one way towards achieving this is allowing the Palestinian election. The Palestinian election is a must, and as far as Israel does not want and prevents it, it's committing a very big mistake.
All right. Well, certainly, as we know, and you could just see from the rule of Hamas in Gaza, neither of course, the Fatah or Israel wants to see Hamas carry out such actions there in the West Bank. Sinijlawi, thank you for joining us
Thank you, Khalil.
on I-24 News.